Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. It's finally time to feed our sweet tooth. I've been looking forward to this one. So delayed, but anyway, I'm cooking this tonight because I want to take it to work tomorrow. Tomorrow's a special day. Anyway, this one is called caramel peanut slice. 6 ingredients. It can serve as many as you want. If you want it to serve 1, don't cut it. If you want it to serve 12, cut it into 12, and so on and so on. So anyway, 6 ingredients, which I'll talk you through in a moment. You are also going to need the following utensils. Oven on 180 because we are cooking one thing. You will also need a Lamington or slice pan. I use this one all the time. It says to grease it, don't line it, so go good on the butter. Don't be stingy with your butter on that one. Thank you. That we're going to cook just the base. The rest of it we're doing on the stovetop. Also need 2 saucepans. One is going to be for melting the peanut butter, the peanut part of it. The other part is going to be for melting the butter, and then you will also need a heat-proof bowl, which you're going to put over the top of the other saucepan for melting the chocolate. That is also known as a double burner saucepan. I'll talk you through that when we get to that part though. Also going to need a food processor and a couple of metal spoons. I think that's all. So come on in. I'm going to show you the ingredients. So as mentioned, only 6 ingredients. I love easy, hardly any ingredient recipes. There's a few steps to this, but it's pretty much once you've done your biscuit base, it's no bake, which is good. You're going to need a 400-gram can of condensed milk. Aldi sell a 397-gram jar. Tin. That's a tin. Thank you. That's fine. 3 grams is not the end of the world. 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. I will measure that out as I need it. 125 grams of dark chocolate. This is the Aldi one. Chop it up. I don't chop it. My way of chopping it is to just put it into the squares, so break it up. A 250-gram packet of Marie biscuits. Now, they didn't have these in Aldi, so I've gone with good old traditional Arnott's ones because they are a 250-gram packet. 200 grams of butter. Now, I could have weighed it out as 200 grams, but the problem is it's being divided. 170 grams is going to be melted. So that's in your first saucepan. The final 30 grams is going in with the butter. That's why it's in there. This will eventually sit on top of this, but that's later down the track. And the final ingredient is our 1/2 cup of super crunchy peanut butter. That's the Aldi one as well. All right, so super easy. So let's start with oven on 180. We're melting this butter because it's going in with the crumbs. So we're also going to actually need a bowl as well to mix it all in. So let's get one of those too. Grab handy pink spatula as well because we are going to need a bowl, and once we've done the crumbs, we'll put the crumbs into the bowl with that melted butter, and then we mix it all around. So handy pink spatula for that, and 2 spoons for the rest of it. So I'm going to go find a bowl. So with the processing of the biscuits, what I normally do is I do a few at a time. Now these ones are pretty good because if you don't have a food processor, you can almost put them in a bag and bash them with a hammer or a rolling pin. bash them gently, but you do want a fairly fine crumb. So put in about 2/3 of the packet. Now I've only got a small food processor, so I've got to do mine in a few batches. If you've got one of these new fandangled food processors, you'll probably do the whole lot in one go. But with this food processor, while it's still going, I ain't getting rid of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, don't replace it. And it'd probably outlast half of these newer ones as well. And this one's been in the family for quite a while. I did try and give it a couple of near-death experiences trying to chop up, I think, dates one day many years ago. And I could actually smell the wiring burning. So I'm very careful with chopping up dates in it now. But biscuits and a lot of other things, it's no problem. I do actually have a spare food processor. Back in the days, Mama used to win a lot of appliances, and I still have a spare one. I've never used it. It's got a blender with it as well. So one day. Not today though. Alright. Just a couple more. Just going to go and check on that butter and I'll be back. Okay, when our crumbs look all crumbly, pop them into that bowl. We're just waiting on our butter. Now, I love these biscuits. They sort of remind me of the Macca's cookies that you can get. The little, I think they still do them, the little animal crackers or whatever. I used to have those. They used to be my midnight snack when I used to go out back in the day, 100 years ago. All right, that's looking good. We're going to make ourselves a well, and we're just waiting on this butter, and then we can get our biscuit base ready to roll. Okay, so we're not pre-baking the biscuit base. We are adding, so let's start on the filling. I have read the recipe once. Peanut butter. In it goes. So this is the second saucepan. We are cooking the biscuit base, but we're also cooking the peanut part as well. So I'm half right and half wrong. Okay. Let's crack that into there. So in goes that 1/2 cup of peanut butter. In goes the condensed milk and the golden syrup. Very messy. Very tasty mess. All right. I'm just going to go and check on the butter. Then the third ingredient going in here is our 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. Our butter's fine, by the way. It's all good. Another delicious sticky mess. I've sort of given up on the jar of this. I find the squeezy ones somewhat easier to use. They all make a mess. I mean, everything makes a mess if you let it, right? But the jar is just so much messier. All right. And that one I can store upside down in the fridge too. Okay. So this we're going to go and place over low heat, and we want to bring it to the boil and thicken and turn like gold. So it'll go the colour of the golden syrup almost. Our butter's nearly ready. So what we need is, I always like to put a tray on a baking tray, a baking dish in a baking tray, especially because this is glass and I don't want it to break. It's another thing that's been in the family for a long time, and I really love using that because it's the perfect size. So butter's nearly ready, just waiting for the peanut butter mix to come to the boil, and then we'll be ready to assemble and cook. Okay, our butter's melted. Bring over our biscuit crumbs into the well. Now, do not lose this saucepan. We're going to put a little bit of water in it, and then we melt the chocolate on top. So the best way to do it is while it's still hot, to pop some water in it now, just cold water, because what we want to do is we don't want to have it ready straight away. So if we actually set that back on the stove, that will start and melt naturally, being on that hot plate that we've turned off. Okay, give this a quick stir. Then we're going to press it into that pan. Make sure it's all incorporated in as well. You'll know when it is. And we're going to press it in pretty firmly. So don't be scared, okay? Alright, so here we go. Pressing it into the pan now. And the way I actually do this at the end is I get a drinking glass and I turn it upside down. This is a tip I learnt many years ago. Turn your glass upside down so you're using the base of it, and you just actually press it down. You can use your hand if you want, but I just find a glass better. Really stamp it down. Like that. Keep going. All right. Okay, I'm going to go check on that peanut butter. I am leaving it at that because it just came to the boil, so it is thick anyway. So it's basically stir constantly over low heat, which I use the eyes in the back of my head. And then it says to thicken and turns light golden. Well, it is light golden. Peanut butter is light golden. So I'm going to tip it over the top. Smell that peanut buttery goodness, hey? So over we go. We didn't want to burn it. It looked like it was starting to stick on the bottom. I guess that's why you have to keep stirring it. All right. So make sure you spread it out. Now we're going to cook this 10 to 15 minutes until mixture is very lightly browned. Well, once again, it is very lightly browned already. Who knows? All right. I will see you in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so after 10 minutes, that is pretty lightly golden brown. And if I can sort of move that one out of the way, just might be able to turn it upside down to have a little bit of a look underneath. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. So we've got to let this cool a little bit. So while that's cooling a little bit, I've just got that sat on the hot plate. I'm going to leave this for about 10 minutes. So I've taken it off the hot tray, and I've put it onto a cooler surface. Because it's glass, I can't go and put it in the freezer. That's how you crack things like this. So if you're using something that isn't glass and you are in a hurry, you can put it in the fridge, but I wouldn't try and cool it down that quick. I'd let it cool down naturally. And if it's not a super hot day, like it's pretty late now, it's getting a lot colder and it's raining, so it will cool pretty quick. So in about 10 minutes, we'll check on how that's going, just melting on its own, the way that we left the chocolate and the butter. And if that's melted, then we can get ready to just spread that on the top. Refrigerate this. I'm going to leave it in the fridge overnight, and I'm going to cut it into slices in the morning. So I'll see you soon. Okay, so we're ready to bring our chocolate over. So I didn't actually end up needing to turn that on, which is pretty cool. So just give it a stir, make sure it's all melted. And all we want to do now is just spread it over the cooled filling. That's cool enough. I'd be happy enough to put this in the fridge. So just drizzle it over. You can use the back of the spoon, or you can get your handy pink spatula or whatever out. Whatever you prefer. Just spread that. Okay, we're going to refrigerate it until it's set. And then when we're ready to serve it, we cut it into however many slices we want. You have one big slice if you want. You can make 10, 12, whatever you fancy. All right. Thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been Caramel Peanut Slice. I'll catch you on the next adventure. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because you don't know when I'm going to drop an episode.